Well, I'll go ahead and predict the opposite. It's going to be the worst seed ever.
Silver's on pedestal.
Well, they both grabbed a pet bee out of their residence, I guess. It's not Link's house in this case. Very similar starts though, opting to grab the sign, do some tree pulling.
Yep, one of, I would say, 3 or 4 routes that you tend to see pretty often starting things out. Interesting that they both go with the exact same one.
Well, they just picked their uncle's wallet out, so... Very similar.
Very similar indeed. We'll see how quickly these routes diverge.
Could be as soon as here, though. I kind of doubt one of them is going to go for Houlihan right away, when they found that much money early.
Yeah, Houlihan is a little bit of a safe strat to start things off. You're guaranteed to have enough money for a bottle vendor and to buy some bombs should you need them. But if you're willing to take the risk with the cash, no need. So as we are getting started, just a quick overview of what is going on for those not familiar with Keysanity. This is linked to the past, but all of the items are in fresh locations, such as that map that is where the mushroom would be, or those 50 where I think a piece of heart would be. But that includes the maps, as we saw, that includes compasses, and that includes all the big keys, like the big key to Thieves' Town. An appropriate spot for it on Thieves' Ledge. So our runners are going to have to figure out where all the keys are, where they can go, where they can't go, and try to take care of Ganon as quick as they can.
Yeah, maps are also important in Keysanity. Normally they're useless, but since in Keysanity you actually don't know which dungeon is a crystal or a pendant until you have the map. Even inside the dungeon, the music is randomized, so you can't tell that way.
Yep, that early bottle means an early sick kid visit. Means an early moon pearl.
Ooh.
What has sick kid been up to?
I don't know. Oh, those are some nice bombs to find right away.
Yeah, there are a few high probability bomb spots. I think 1 or 2 guaranteed. Or you can always just go buy some if you have the cash. But you do want bombs very early for Blind's Hideout, the Well, and the race game, and the chicken coop.
Yeah, especially because the race game has such a higher chance of having something you want to grab. Having as many bombs as possible is really, really important early.
And there's the first glove.
Getting ever closer to that Dark World access. There it is! Right away. Not even 4 minutes in, we have Dark World access. Well, this is where things get interesting, when you get the super early Dark World access.
Yeah, the question is, do you go super early, or do you hold out? Because with no sword, no tunic upgrade, no shield, you're in a precarious situation if you decide to go.
To say the least, the enemies in Dark World do a ton of damage. So I expect they'll probably put it off until they check some of these Sphere Zero locations.
Just a little rebate from the bottle vendor. Nothing exciting.
He does like his scams.
So our runners are actually going to be holding on to enough cash to purchase a 10-pack of bombs on their way out. Good routing, good fortune on that front.
Yeah, we'll need one for the bomb game. Or not the bomb game, the race game. Bomb game's totally different. And it's also, even though they have the hammer, it's still really good for like the mini mold arm cave because trying to get those guys with the hammer, kind of hard.
Yeah, and they do just enough damage that don't really want to risk it too much.
Yeah, they hug you, then they knock you in the pit. That's 2 hearts. Real easy to die.
Yeah, people in chat commenting, early Dark World access means the lamp could be anywhere. Even late Dark World access means the lamp could be anywhere. This game with the route layouts can be very obnoxious to our runners.
Oh yeah, the lamp can be hidden behind some really, really mean item chains. I believe that was the red pendant from Desert. Am I mistaken?
I did not notice the map check, unfortunately.
It was red. I'm sure of that. I'm not entirely sure what was red, but I think it was a pendant.
Yeah, this is another pretty common direction after doing Kakariko. Go down to South Shore. Well, all of that lovely stuff.
Yeah, these are really fast items, and it's hard to justify not doing it just because you can get them right away.
Yeah, Ice Rod Cave is a little more debatable whether people go for it or not. Oh, we have a sword. Good timing.
That's really useful. We do have hammer, but hammer is harder to swing than sword.
It does do more damage though.
It does indeed. Yeah, Iceberg Cave is one of those locations, like you said, that people can put off for a while. Though it seems more common that people just bite the bullet and do it because sometimes that cave has really good stuff.
Yep, that and the desert cave tend to get put off because of just how far away they are, but they are considered in logic from the very beginning, so there could be very important things there. Unfortunately, not much that's very important in Mini Moldorm, unless you're concerned with getting rich quick.
There's a small fortune in there. That's really convenient right here before the fake flipper spot. If you want to go to Zoro.
Actually, that is a very good point. Our runners may decide, yes, let's do Ice Rod because we're going to fake flipper up to the waterfall. They have Moon Pearl, they can do it. Lunchtime, not going to take that option though.
It's very interesting. Okay. I think they're doing the backside of escape first.
That is a sensible choice. Because yes, anything once you do a minor glitch or a sequence break, it's a sequence break. The logic will not require you to do that. So fake flipper and dark room runners might do those, but if they do, they'll start to kind of be out of sequence and out of expectations for the game. And then who knows what'll happen?
Now it's not a sequence break. Now it's just a sequence. Finding those flippers in the bottom of the escape sequence.
So we're going to see Sabo set up the fake flipper, tricking the game into thinking they can swim. Lunchtime requires no such tomfoolery. A nice clean fake flipper for Sab0. That is a little bit dangerous. If you take damage while doing it, you just up and die immediately.
Yep, normally that will put you on a weird edge of the map and scroll it until you can save and quit, but the randomizer just gets rid of that and just kills you. Any hit while you're fake flipping is a one-hit KO. Alright, well, we'll find out if this was worth it at all.
Yep, just the Skullwood's big keys so far in the rescue sequence. And a small key to GT at Life Lesson.
Small case GT, not worthless, but pretty unimportant.
Yep, you only really need one, and even then, you don't necessarily need it. You can find ways to get by without finding one. And Sab0 gonna take our first dip into the Dark World. Heading for probably what's considered Hype Cave. People have been debating the name of it based on its recent performance, but that is what it's commonly been referred to as.
The last race of lunchtimes had a bow, a sword, and something else in there, so it was pretty hype. We'll see if that's the case this time. I still think it's a good check this early, because it's such a high density of items. Ooh.
Hype Cave confirmed!
Pretty hype, pretty hype. And now we're going to get some information on the 5-6 crystals.
Swamp and Mire. That's half vanilla.
That is half vanilla.
Unfortunately, our under the bridge friend didn't have much to offer.
Now, lunchtime got a heart. That's 25% more. Ooh. Some interesting stuff early.
Yep, with that, Sab0 can actually go visit Batman.
You can. I'm always a big fan of betting on that when you get a chance early.
Yeah, and Batman can have some interesting choices. I've seen him have the hammer, which you might think is not possible, but you can get around it with the mirror, so that's in logic. That's the sort of thing you have to think about when you're running this game.
Yep, hammer can be in some really weird places. Sab0 getting a bit ahead of himself. You still need one more glove upgrade before you can get into the King's Tomb.
Yep, they can hit up the bonk rocks, and they could hit up the library if there was anything worthwhile there, but...
Yep, we see lunchtime making the same play. And this is smart, when you're in such a low percent state, checking... Because the south side of Dark World is actually pretty safe as far as Dark World locations go. So trying to get some kind of health or any kind of safety first is really important.
Now, in terms of like the first circle of items that we haven't seen, nobody has gone over to Eastern yet.
They have not, and I think a lot of people like try to. No, I was just about to say before they get the bow, they like try to put that off. But we just found the bow. Sab will not even let me bless him. He's just going ahead before I can say the thing. But that's a big find. He still needs the big key to Eastern Palace to actually finish it, but
Looks like he's going to take the first peek at least. And yeah, this seed so far hasn't been 10 out of 10 easy, but hasn't really messed with the runners either. Give it time.
give it time. Whenever it starts out really nice, there's something that will trip you up later.
And Skullwoods is the green pendant.
Yep, Sabo opting not to go into Eastern. That's interesting.
Probably waiting until Lamp and Big Key. Or at least Big Key.
Yeah, you don't want to double dip that if you can help it for any dungeon really, but
Yeah, if you're gonna have to double dip, Eastern is one of the better ones. But you don't want to do it at all if you can prevent it.
yeah, Eastern can be routed in later with pod and such like that. I do like that he's looking like he's going to go to the Dark World here because he did get the cape, and if there's something good at Bumper Cave and he checks that, that could be a really nice advantage early.
Also, having Cape means our runners can check the first chest in Aghanim's tower. That's somewhere that you normally don't go when you're doing standard or open, but those chests can have anything.
That is true, that is another good point.
Just a compass from Batman.
Yep, Compass is still pretty useless in Keysanity if you're an experienced runner.
Yep, all it does is tell you how many item locations are in a dungeon and how many of them you have and haven't checked. And our runners are at the level where that's not very essential information.
Yep. Lunchtime, taking the dip into Eastern. I like it.
Meanwhile, it looks like Sabo is going to visit the village. Might dip into Thieves Town with that big key.
Yep, and there's some chests in Skullwoods as well.
Yeah, Thieves Town is one of those curiously easy dungeons to do early. It's dangerous, but blind is the same fight no matter what sword you have.
Yep, and Cape makes them pretty easy.
Yep.
And they did get the big key, so the only thing they can't do there is the big chest. Which could be important, we don't know.
So our first Turtle Rock small key. Our runners are only going to need 3 of the 4 small keys for that, unless they decide to do the big key chest.
And to be fair, Lunchtime has done that before. I don't think they're going to do it this time, based on the file names they chose.
Yep, what they are going to do is our first dark room of the run. Again, logic will not require you to do this, but if you're going to do one, this is possibly the easiest.
Yeah, especially when you have a sword, it's pretty simple. no real danger of dying as long as you remember where the enemies are.
Sabo in a little danger of dying. Those Gibdos are not cooperating.
Yeah, this room is not fun. Oh boy. Oh.
Oh, clever.
You can get used to that cape. I assume he tried to activate it in the doorway, but that doesn't work. Okay, well, Eastern, having a lot of big keys in it. Not much else.
Yeah, missed what the last one was. Looks like Swamp.
Mm-hmm. Believe we found Swamp and Ice Palace in there. Two of some of the more trolly big keys simply because of the item locations that I unlock.
Yep, and the Ice Palace one, debatably not necessary. It really depends on a runner's ability to do bomb jumps. You can get around with that one. And the Swamp Palace one, along with Skull Woods, is not required at all to clear those dungeons.
Yep, quite right. Only useful for opening the big chest.
Pod key in the Sea House.
Pod another place they might want to keep in mind as well, since considering they've gotten the hammer and the bow pretty early.
Yep, that'll let them easily save one small key. And if they can manage the hammer jump, that's another small key they can spare. Lets you clear the dungeon with 4 keys instead of 6.
A pretty essential trick for Keysanity.
And Sabo is going to take the dip into Thieves Town. We don't know if this is a crystal or a pendant just yet, so we don't know if they'll bother with blind.
Pretty decent chance this is a crystal, just looking at what we know so far. But it could definitely be a pendant.
And Lunchtime making their way through the village as well.
Ooh, Castle Tower. Where are you, Mr. Lamp? Are you in pod?
Are you in Castle Tower?
That would be the worst spot for it. Just right
Well,
there in the bottom floor.
Well, it could only be in the first chest, not the second one, but that's still pretty obnoxious. Not much desire to go there yet. Lamp on pedestal would actually be pretty brutal to our runners. I was watching one of our runners practice earlier, not one of the two in this race, but another in the tournament, and they had to deal with silver arrows on pedestal, which is a nice practice for doing a silverless Ganon fight.
Yeah, I don't think you get silvers in that scenario. But who knows? I seem to remember Lunchtime was hoping for an Aga and Ped Seed last race, and they didn't get it either. So maybe this time they'll get their wish. Our wish. So Ice Palace small key, also not required if you're a more experienced runner. Simply because it does make your routing in Ice Palace better, but other than that, it's not too useful.
Yep. Although having having the big key and one small key, you don't have to do the bomb jump anymore. So you can spare yourself a few hearts in a little bit of time. If you have the red cane, of course. Lumberjack Cave was just a 50.
Well, I don't know what that's doing there. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah, what is Blind doing with that?
He has no use for that item.
Yeah, there's a logic error in here.
Yeah, somebody fix this bug, please. All right, well.
What do you have to say for yourself? Are you doing a blind run of this game?
Are you doing a blind run? What are you talking about?
Yes, blind with fighter sword is no different than blind with tempered or gold or master. It's always 3 hits per phase, and you're done. Ooh, Sabo got done.
You know, when he was heading into Dark World, I was thinking to myself, he should probably bonk against that tree just to get the full magic. And that would have kept him alive there, but a little late to say that. Blind is still a really tough fight when you have this few hearts in green mail. Fortunately, it doesn't take a lot of time to get back to him when you got the boots. So here comes round 2.
Does give lunchtime a little bit of space to catch up. And Sabo's gonna have to do it without cape entirely.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you come back into this fight, Blind's already active, so you don't get your free hit on him.
And you don't get to hear his pun again, which might be for the better.
That's probably for the better. That'd be pretty tilting. Oh gosh.
Ooh. Lunchtime clears it out. Sabo struggling a little bit. And it is a crystal.
Okay, Sabo saying I'll come back later, which is smart. I mean, if you're having trouble with the boss, it's usually a better idea just to come back later instead of keep banging your head against it.
Yep, and the shield is always nice to have, but it's not a progression item, so Sabo's not going to lose too much time from this.
Yeah, he did find the mirror, so that's nice. You'll be able to check both this Graveyard Ledge and the King's Tomb. I'm a little bit ahead because they did check the escape, which Sabo has not done quite yet. If he had, he would probably be really happy because there was a red potion in Zelda's chest.
And a Mire key in the King's Tomb.
Mire key, also one of those keys. Not really useful if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, that dungeon has way too many keys, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
So I think Sabo is lining up for a catfish visit.
Yep, might buy a potion while he's here as well. Does not look like he's interested in making a purchase today.
Lunchtime. Looks like they might be heading for Skull Woods.
Yeah, I don't believe they've checked this yet.
Ooh,
Oh.
catfish! Catfish with the cane.
Well, that is 1 point in Sabo's favor. Unfortunately, because they did not check Skull Woods in the Weapon Cave, Lunchtime went in the complete opposite direction of the Cave of Samaria.
Yeah, hopefully they'll go back soon. Catfish is one of those locations that runners try to put off as long as possible because it's just out of the way enough to make you miserable.
Yeah, and that is a rough one because he just checked the graveyard area, which would be like the ideal time to go to Catfish, but he could still easily check that after, for example, checking Pyramid and just walking up there.
Now, has Lunchtime gone and visited the Zora? Because if not, that's the sort of thing you can route in as a pair.
I believe they have gone to Zora.
Just a piece of heart on the pyramid ledge. Looks like Sabo's going to go visit Castle Tower. Or not. Little fake out.
I think they're going to check Escape first. Or are they? No, they're not. Wow. They don't have the magic. They can't get in. That's why.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, that does run on gas, so...
Maybe should have got a green potion first and filled that up, but so it goes. And Lunchtime is going to go Death Mountain. Going to sequence break for that.
And this is interesting. There's actually quite a lot of stuff up here on Death Mountain that he can get to just by sequence breaking. That meter gives him hair access and all that.
Yep, none of it will be the lamp, probably. But if there's a flute somewhere currently in logic, then the lamp could be up here. And a Bluenick is up here.
Just like the grandparents to give you clothes.
Well, it just wants you to be safe and
Wow.
warm in these difficult seasons.
Guess what? Guess what we just found?
What did we just find?
We just found the flute. In Pod.
Indeed we did.
So it could be up here. Ooh. Someone left a really nice sword in Spectacle Rock.
Just leaving weapons lying around. You know, I bet you that's Grandpa's. He forgot about it. You know, he was going to give you that gift, but he lost it up in the rocks.
Yeah, he fell down the hole. Couldn't find his way back up again. Alright, well, Sabo. Finding some really good items with this chosen route. And Flute does set him back up for a rematch with Blind whenever he wants to do that.
Yep, that'll be easy enough to access.
Oh, this bonk is so finicky in Pod. And the beetles don't make it any more fun. You got like one try before they're on you. There we go. Oh. Vanilla map.
Another T-Rock Spall key on Spec Rock. And a hook shot in Pod.
Goodness gracious. Pod is loaded today.
Yep, as much as sequence breaking can be a good advantage, it looks like dipping into pod was the better play.
Yeah, it's definitely paid off for Sab0. Yeah, that's one of the risks with sequence breaking is it can just set you on a bad path. Even though, like probability-wise, checking these high-density locations can be really good. Sometimes the stuff is just on the path.
Ooh, Sab0 taking another unfortunate death.
And they're done here. I would have liked to see them route that in with like an Eastern Palace check, but
Oh well, there's still a good chance they'll be back, and a good chance they'll go to Hera. What with that second glove and all.
yeah, that flute might send them right up there. And they're gonna find Mitts, which is really, really good. So now pretty much everything in the seed, it has just opened up.
Yep. All rise for our national anthem as Sab0 releases the duck. Quack.
Alright, lunchtime. Gonna make us some lunch, gonna pound some hamburgers up here with the hammer.
Yep, even with Master Sword, this is faster. And that's 2 crystals for lunchtime. Going pretty fast on that dungeon completion.
Yep, they do have a dungeon clear advantage on Sab0, but Sab0 has some really good items on lunchtime, so hard to say who's better off right now. But these bits will also allow them to check the Turtle Rock medallion, as well as give them all the goodies on Dark Death Mountain.
And a small key on the floating island. We'll get to see what Turtle Rock requires. It's an ether.
Yeah, sadly, lunchtime's gonna have to come back here for these 3 chests in the hookshot cave that you can't get without the hookshot, which Sab0 won't have to do, so that's good for him.
Not even gonna try to bonk for the 4th one. And there's a tempered sword and ether. Turtle Rock assembly kit.
Oh boy. Well, that does open up the possibility to go get the first chest in Turtle Rock, if Sab0 wants to do that.
Yeah, lunchtime not yet able to, though. Remember, he hasn't gone to Catfish.
Yeah. I suppose they could actually get a little bit more than the first chest, but Ooh, Bombos. And with that, Ice Palace is officially open as well.
Yep, this seed is starting to crack open.
Oh my. That is basically the big key to Swamp Palace right there.
Well, good thing you got it nice and early.
Yeah, I doubt lunchtime's actually going to go in there right away.
Well, not without hookshot, certainly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can get everything there. You can just not finish the boss, but you would want to find hookshot before you go in there for sure. Just to avoid double dipping it if you can.
Yeah, when it comes to dungeon double dipping, Swamp is one of the worst ones to have to do that with. Just because of all the setup time to get in there in the first place.
Yeah. Pod double dip, not much better, but it is required apparently. Or it looks required from our perspective. Swamp's easy to get to, but has the long delay draining the lake and such. Pod's just a long walk. Flute makes it a little better, though. But...
So we found our second Aga key over in Paradox, along with another pod key.
Okay, well that might actually send lunchtime that way, shortly. Which would be really, really good for him.
Yep. When you have hammer and bow, you only actually need one to clear it, and you only need, well, I would say 3 to get the important stuff.
Alright, are they going into Ice Palace? It's what's
They
looked
could
like.
be. Interesting choice. We don't know what Ice Palace is at the moment. But we do know that with Bombos, you can get through the dungeon.
Yeah,
And with the big,
Go ahead.
I was saying, with the big key and one small key, you can basically get everywhere. So lunchtime might full clear it.
Yeah, it seems pretty likely. If you're gonna come in here, you might as well clear it. Though I don't think for him this is actually in the logic quite yet. So, from his perspective, I think this is a sequence break.
Ooh, that's a fire rod.
That's not in the appropriate spot at all. Someone must have left that on the way out.
Yeah, people just being clumsy, leaving good stuff all over the place. And we did see where the last crystal and last pendant are, so Ice Palace will be entered by everybody. And was that the silvers?
I missed it. I see the red mail.
Yeah, we found silvers and red mail in the Hookshot Cave. So Sabo is going to have a smooth Ganon fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna say lunchtime's probably gonna get those as well. So Turtle Rock a pendant. So as far as the pedestal goes, I believe that's what Quake, potentially for Mire.
Could be.
Could be Bow leading to Quake. Not Bow, Book. That's the B word I wanted.
Could still be Lamp.
Don't think so, because Turok does have that dark maze.
Oh, no, yeah, you are correct. You are correct. Could be Vanilla. Could have the fourth sword there.
It certainly could.
Or any number of big keys that we still need. Eastern, Pod, Mire.
Yeah, it could be any of the big keys for the crystal dungeons. Head's still alive and well for right now. Okay. I'm feeling good about lunchtime now. He just found that Bikita pod. There's no way he doesn't go there after ice. I guarantee it. And the fourth small key.
He's got to.
Now I super guarantee it. Question from Jet, Fruit from Sweden. They're both 2-1. This isn't like a match between them. Both these two players are in Swiss rounds, so they both have 2 wins and 1 loss, is what that means.
So this is a form of commentator's curse that we don't really expect. We will do our best to get caught up and rolling correctly.
I feel this strong urge to make puns now.
Well, the Twitch stream is functioning, so we can still observe. We'll just be a little delayed.
All right, where are we? I believe lunchtime is just killed cold stare.
Yep, that is the level of behind we are at the moment. We will keep striving to clean this up.
Meanwhile, it looks like Sab0tender made their way to my area with those mitts. Bombos from Misery Mire, so Quake not required at all. Not even useful.
And lunchtime has finally gone to the Ice Rod Cave. Like I was saying earlier, some runners hold off on that for a long time. Even though it's not that far out of the way, but it is just far enough.
With no boots, no flute. Some people just like to skip that.
Speaking of no flutes, lunchtime still hasn't grabbed it. I guess still avoiding pod as long as possible. And still no catfish, so no Samaria.
Oh my, they're actually going into swamp. You don't understand lunchtime. I guaranteed you were going to pod. You're making me look like a fool. Oh wait, no. Okay, he is going to pod. Thank God. You see, I was right.
And again, I will say for
Wait,
folks who are
no.
listening, the separate feed that we use for commentary so that we are in line with the video, it is currently not operating. So we are watching what you are watching on Twitch, which means we are slightly behind. So we are learning it as you are learning it in real time.
Yeah,
And then
we're
you
not.
hear us like 10 seconds later.
Yeah, we're not quite that slow. Maybe a little slow, but not quite that slow. So we hope you bear with us while we get this sorted out.
Yep, I have seen message from Feasel, who was operating the restream and all that he is aware of the issue and is working on it. So we should get that sorted out pretty quick. Feasel is pretty good at handling the tech difficulties.
Okay. Lunchtime wanted to check Aga first. That's okay. Now they're going to pod, right? Okay.
Agony asking if we can commentate without even watching. Our runners are too unpredictable.
Yeah.
You never know where they're going to decide to head next.
I have had to commentate just based on sound before, but that's kind of hard to keep sanity.
Ah, yes, we had the lamp in Swamp Palace.
Of course, why not? Gotta go into pod. Wait, do you? Maybe
No,
not.
Swamp was. Oh no, you had to go into. Oh no,
No.
where was the flute? The flute was. No, flute was pod. So
Yeah,
yes, you
what-
have to use the pod to, in sequence, go up Death Mountain to get the small key on the floating island to get into Swamp to get the lamp.
It's always Lamp that's behind these really jerk item chains, I swear. Okay, but lunchtime did come into pod. This is really good for them. I do worry when they're going to get to catfish, on the other hand.
Yeah, though, like when you're in the pod region, that's personally when I'll route catfish in. Just because it's a quick dash up from there. So hopefully they'll go there next.
Yeah, they do have boots. They do have flute. I could see them floating to the dark portal just below Eastern Palace and running up that way if they wanted to. And to be fair, they won't need that for a while since Misery Mire is the only one that requires it. With an Hysterics next to that, just in case, Turtle Rock, a dip into that might be required.
Yeah, Turtle Rock has enough chests that something valuable could be hidden in there, but we are running very short on required items. We are pretty much down to required keys at this stage. And Sabo never grabbed the big key to Swamp. Didn't go through the dark rooms in Eastern, so that's one chest that will remain a mystery for the moment.
Yeah, I don't believe they wanted to do Eastern at all. So they're going to be missing that Ice Palace big key as well.
Oh yes, you are correct. And I can applaud Lunchtime's restraint, not giving a few rage slashes at that hook shot. I'm
Yeah,
sure
that would've
I
been
would be a
useful.
little grumpy.
Yeah, it would have been really useful while they were there, right? Well, on the plus side, if they route correctly, they won't have to double dip pod, so it's kind of a, I guess, consolation prize.
Yeah, as we were saying earlier, pod is one of those that you really would rather not double dip. Of course, the game logic tends to like to do that to you.
Yeah, the dark room leading up to Helmasaur King is actually a bit of a pain in the butt, but he does have the fire rod, so that does make it easier. There are torches you can light. Wow, that is a bouncy broom.
Yep, and if, excuse me, if anyone is wondering why we seem to be a little bit behind, the standard commentary feed that we would be using is currently not cooperating. So we're having to watch on the Twitch channel as you all are. So there's a little bit of commentary delay that we are working to resolve. Yes, in pod, you will see runners kind of skip around a bunch of chests, or at least seem like it. Key management in pod is pretty tricky, especially if you're doing, using the bow and hammer to get around the front door, doing the hammer jump to get past this door for the dark maze. A lot of little tricks.
Yeah, this jump right here is the big one. Saving this small key can save you so much time in this mode. It does have to do with the dark maze, though. Oh, it would appear at lunchtime has found a book. Sometimes these items in the dark maze do not actually pop up to where you can see them until you check your menu. Gotta pay.
Yep. That's a side effect of doing dark rooms, so the items just don't show up. Keys will, fortunately, so you can tell what's going on there, but book, any sort of progression item, not really visible.
Yeah, that can be especially confusing if it's a medallion and you actually have medallions in your inventory, because you might not actually notice you picked another one up. But this does leave lunchtime the capability to finish this dungeon while they're here, which is really nice. Pod does take a little bit of a long walk to get back to, so double dipping it is not something you want to do.
Yep. And unfortunately, we do not have any updates on the commentary feed being resolved quite yet. So you'll have to bear with us, unfortunately. We'll see if lunchtime can get all the way through the dark pod basement.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine, as long as they can light the torch. There we go. Who needs a lamp?
So that this will help lunchtime extend their crystal lead.
Yeah, it certainly will. If they went to a catfish right after this, I would put them at I would say a decent advantage, like a small advantage over Sebo. Sebo did clear out Swamp Palace, which, you know, it does take some time when you're full clearing it. But they do have to go back to Thieves' Town as well to finish that at some point.
Yep, and if lunchtime holds off on Swamp until the very end when they're in go mode, they will probably not do the left-hand side, which can save a fair amount of time. Now, I have a feeling Sabo is going to head towards Pod right after this. Kind of follow that same route. Yeah, we'll see where lunchtime decides to go after this fluting. We are down to that classic point in Keysanity where people are just looking for big keys more than anything else. Okay, we got Sabo taking on Cold Stare. We're trying to speed up things with the commentary timing. Hopefully things are a little bit better. Please do let us know in chat if we still seem way behind.
We're actually ahead of the stream. So right now it looks like lunchtime taking the purple chest down. Probably gonna check this little cave up here. The cave of many names.
I don't know, I always liked calling it just Cave 45. Nice and simple name. But right now it's just the Cave of 10 Arrows. All right, thank you for that note, Feasel. We are kind of working around some other opportunities. I think our timing is working fine. Still not what we want. 5 seconds ahead? Okay. So we'll figure out how to compensate for that.
Oh boy. I always get the fun ones. Okay, well meanwhile, we do have lunchtime running the stroll chest down here. Probably gonna check Bombos right after that.
Actually, the fact that we're 5 seconds ahead means we can predict the future.
We could cheat.
How's that for a power?
Yeah.
Well, I do believe lunchtime is about to go into swamp.
They're in the area. Meanwhile, Sab0tender is making their way through pod. Got Silver Arrow. It's gonna be a teeny bit easier than lunchtime. Okay, lunchtime is going into swamp. Gonna be probably still gonna full clear it.
Yeah, it's a little too early in the run for full go mode. Although I don't remember there being anything very useful on the left side, so if they do decide to skip it entirely, might not be a huge cost.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, the mental pressure of skipping that and not being in go mode is pretty big. But they will find their lamp down here a little bit later than they actually could have used it. The real question is, when they're done here, do you think they're going to go to Catfish?
I sure hope so.
I would like to see them do that just because that's the correct thing to do. From our perspective anyways, we know the Kane's there. I could see them going to Mire though, and even going inside of it. Because that is Bombos, I believe. And they can get in there.
Yeah, and it is a decent number of locations. Not a huge number, but a fairly good amount. So the chance of Kane being there, you kind of consider that.
Yeah. Normally all those chests are just filled with useless small keys and maps and compasses, but in Keysanity, there's items there usually. Alright, there's eight chests in Misery Mire. Or rather, 8 item locations, one including the boss, of course. So we will see. I think lunchtime is one of those runners that doesn't like to do like gambles into dungeons when they're missing the item to complete it. At least sometimes. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him look around for the Cane of Samaria before he actually commits to going in there. But at the same time, who knows? He could clear Desert Wise there, and that would be temptation.
Yeah, also of note, if I'm remembering correctly at least, neither of our runners have gone into desert at all. It's only a few locations and it is a pendant. But if we're still missing items and they're gonna head to Mire, they might as well route it in.
Yeah, they got both keys for it, so that's 4 quick spots. I think, actually, is it 5? I think it might be 5.
They can full clear it at this point if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Sabo did desert, did they? I don't remember that. But if chat says he did, then chat wouldn't lie to us, would they?
Chat would never lie. Also, it looks like we don't have the shout out bot, but folks watching, always recommend that you check out these runners on their own channels. They're doing great work. They're putting in their time to make this tournament happen and make it exciting. And another shout out to Haha Cell, who is handling the tracking on this race. So we're going to have Sabo going through the pod basement, giving us a chance to actually see what it looks like.
Yeah, spoiler, it looks like the rest of the dungeon. Same walls and everything. Just a lot of dark. I wonder where Sabo will go next. Mire seems tempting to me. But they don't have the big key for that, so maybe not.
Yeah, it's a tough one to predict so far. Getting some nice strats on Argus there. And Sabo's taking care of Helmasaur.
Well, they finished them in roughly the same amount of time. Lunchtime a little faster.
Lunchtime making the Mire play.
Yeah, this is what I was worried about. Well, we'll see if they actually dip into Mire or they just check the surrounding locations in desert. I do understand why they went here, though, because this is the biggest collection of item locations they have right now. All they have besides this is a bunch of one-offs that are much less tempting to check.
Of course, we really hope they get tempted to check that catfish one off, because that's what lunchtime needs right now.
Yeah, that is the key.
So I guess we'll see if there's anything useful in desert. And by that I mean at least us commentators who may have missed it.
Yeah, I believe this was around when we started having a few issues, so... Alright, Sabo, looking like he's gearing up for a rematch with Mr. Blind.
Definitely in better shape to do it this time.
He's red all over, even his sword, ready to make Blind red all over. But Blind
Blind's already red.
Yeah, and he's kind of a ghost, so maybe that doesn't make sense. Well, anyway. Desert just adding to lunchtime's heart count for right now.
Yep, and that's the knockout for Sabo. Third time's the charm.
Yeah, blind doesn't really stand a chance at this point. And Sabo probably had that fight if they had a full magic bar the first time, so... Alright, lunchtime, making dip into Mire. Sadly, they're gonna have to come back later, but...
Sadly.
I mean, this is the correct thing to do while you're here. Yeah, it's just checking this while you're in the area. Just unfortunate he's not going to find much of value in here. Unless it's like the GT Big Key.
We might find something of value, but it's certainly not the value that he needs right now.
Yeah, on the plus side, it might save him from Turtle Rock dips. Well, there's Quake. Yeah, Lunch also does not have the big key, so that might be another issue, unless the big key is in here.
Yeah, that's true. We're still missing Eastern. We found Desert. I don't remember where that was. So yeah, Mire Big Key would be interesting. If
All
it's... Yeah.
We do have the commentator race stream back up, so...
Okay, good to know.
Should be right on time. Oh, okay. Well. About the Mire Big Key.
Yeah, about that. How about that?
Yeah. Of all the possible play locations it could be.
That's... Actually, yes, that's completely vanilla. That is... Wow.
The one place you would never expect. Well, on the bright side, at least they will be able to just complete this when they come back. Won't have to worry about anything.
Oh, a nice little bit of half magic. That's always helpful.
Hard to hate half magic. That's one of those items that's useful throughout the entire run, for various reasons.
Yep, so it's always a lovely item to find in, say, the final chest after Moldorm 2. Which is a thing that can happen.
Certainly can. We find the big key to Skull Woods.
And Sabo is finally going and doing the rescue sequence. Worth noting, neither of our runners have done the Dark Swamp. Or the Dark Sewer chest, rather. So we're starting to get to where those one-off locations that everyone hates may be the essential items to break this last bit open.
Yeah, lunch times is unfortunately one of the least convenient for him right now. He might actually go back up to Dargeth Mountain to clear up Hookshot Cave and do Spike Cave before he goes there. Which will be rough.
And yeah, we still haven't had a pedestal check at all.
We have not. Let's see. The big key to Eastern could be there. The big key to GT could be there. Oh, okay, well, lunchtime might be granting our wish here shortly. Going up here to Skull Woods, it looks like. And if he is going there, we will almost assuredly mirror and check the pedestal.
Sabo is going to give us the sewer check. Yeah, at this point, our runners are basically tied as far as crystals go. They're literally tied as far as crystals go. But Sabo does have that cane advantage.
They do. And if they go to Mire, that'll be another crystal on their belt. I understand why they're not, though. Because you wouldn't expect the big key to Misery Mire to be in Misery Mire.
You wouldn't expect the Misery Mire Big Key to be in the Misery Mire Big Key chest.
Yeah.
For sure. Of course, this one-off hunting may actually lead to the Eastern Big Key or the Ganon Tower Big Key, so not gonna say it's gonna be useless.
Yeah, you just gotta check what you gotta check. Anything you can get.
Like an ice rod, I suppose.
Right. That worries me. Just a teensy bit. I wonder if we're gonna see something really unfortunate on the pedestal in about a minute.
Sabo just in tablet checking mode.
And lunchtime. Cleaning up Mothula. Pretty easy fight with Blue Mail and Tempered Sword. Just run into him and cut him up. Alright, well. Here we go. Pet hype?
So map or a compass, I think a map in that case. So the dream is dead. A heck of a shield Sabo's got there.
Yep, sadly, Pet is dead, but that doesn't mean that this green pendant could be nothing. Or that Trinex could have something.
It looks like Sabo is gonna make that Mire dip, which will, yeah, that'll help secure them the lead. Once they find that big key and realize they are good to go there.
Yeah. When lunchtime goes back there, it won't actually take them that long to get to Vitreous, fortunately. I think the longest little bit there to actually get back is just the opening room where you have to kill all the enemies. From there, it's just a really quick run.
Yep. Chad asking which Turtle Rock key Sabo is missing. I'm not positive. I believe it is the one in Skullwoods. Because I think they both cleared out Pod, and they definitely both grabbed the Spectacle Rock one.
Okay, well, lunchtime is going to get their Ice Rod. For better or worse. And they are running out of locations to check for that Keysanity Mire, which we know is at Catfish. So this next float's really critical for them. All right, okay,
Ooh.
that's great. No, what are you doing? No, you're crazy! Lunchtime! Okay, I know what they're doing. They're turning in pendant
They're
first.
doing the pendant check, yeah.
They have to fly back there and go to Dark World. That has to be what they're gonna do.
Just some cash from Sandslash.
Oh no!
Are they? I mean, they can't do T-Rock though.
They can't, but they did not clear out Hookshot Cave, and they haven't done Spike Cave. This is what I was worried
true.
about.
I mean, they do want to go to Hookshot Cave because, you know,
Yeah.
Silver's red mail, but yeah.
And I think they have the Ether Tablet as well, so... This is a smart play, because there's a lot of stuff up here they can check. And who knows, maybe after they're done here, they'll go straight to Catfish. So it's not like the worst thing in the world.
So I suppose the important question after having done that green pendant check, what's the best nickname for Sahasrahla? Naturally, I'm fond of Sandslash, but I'm sure other people have their preferences.
I just like throwing out random S syllables and just having that be it. Sahasurasu. It's just how, depending on my mood. I see people...
Sassafras is a good one.
I mean, you could just call him Sahasrahla. That's his name, but... It says Shomaru, I like that one. Alright, well, lunchtime does get his red mail and his silvers.
Going to go over to Spike Cave, I suspect.
Yep, gonna be disappointed. Just to be there.
Well, I will get them the mirror shield, if nothing else. Not worthless.
I think Mirror Shield's actually pretty worthless. I mean, it's helpful for the laser bridge, I guess, but they do have the cave and half magic for that. And it does reflect Wizrobe beams, but it doesn't actually make them hurt the Wizrobes.
Which was
is
always annoying and strange to me, but yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, Sabo gonna make quick work of Vitreous, thanks to Silvers.
All right. Well, that does open up Pyramid Fairy.
It does indeed.
Still looking for the GT Big Key as well as the Eastern Palace Big Key.
Lunchtime, I think they're going for the fish. It's
Okay, this
lunchtime
is
going fishing.
looks like it. Not going to be happy when they get here. Because they could have done this so much earlier. It's just unfortunate they chose to go to the left instead of the right from the graveyard.
Yeah, this is classic randomizer. You put off that one location that you know is annoying to get to, and you hope that ignoring it is worthwhile, and then it so isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Not even getting any rage slashes though. Just sort of a stationary look of disbelief.
Okay, well, lunchtime's really got to hope that there's something on Trinex at this point, because that's going to be what's going to equalize the distance between him and Sabo at this point. It's going to be really unfortunate if the big key to Eastern Palace happens to be in Pyramid Fairy. Or even both keys.
Or even both keys, very possible. Of course, there's still plenty of room for things to troll our runners. We haven't seen the Thievestown small key. We haven't seen the Hera small key, for that matter.
Yeah, there are a bunch of little one-off item locations that could be really trolling. Well, Pyramid Fairy having the lesser of the two invincibility items.
Yep, little bit of a bust.
Sabo looks like they're going to come up here to Skullwoods now. So that'll give lunchtime a little bit of time to catch up.
Anything to avoid dipping into Turtle Rock. Can't blame them, but increasingly looking like that's where the big keys are going to be.
You know, it'd be really trolling, at least for lunchtime, is EP or GT, big key, in the middle chest.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be trolly for both of our runners because small key counts, but especially for lunchtime, that's just going to be aggravating.
Yeah, because if you didn't see the file names, lunchtime is talking about skipping Turtle Rock middle chest. But in the instance that a Turtle Rock dip is required, lunchtime does have a small advantage right now, just because of the keys, though I think Sab0tender will be getting another one shortly. But yeah, there's Vitreous down. lunchtime, closing the distance just a little bit. They'll probably check Pyramid Fairy, so...
Yep, reasonable expectation.
This is getting nice and even again. Oh, they're opting to clear a desert.
Lamula's one of those one-off locations.
You are right here, and this is actually pretty easy and fast with half magic, fire rod, silver arrows, tempered sword. No matter how you want to kill him, it's going to be really quick.
It might have been the first time I've seen the magic powder used on an enemy, intentionally or not, in a very long time.
Yeah,
it's a good strat for handling dead rocks, though. So
yeah, that is the one way to punish them for being dead rocks.
Sab0 showing us one way to punish Mothula for being Mothula.
Well, Mothula is something that deserves punishment, I would say. Yes, you can see the fire rod just destroys these things. Oh, and there's a big
tier to Eastern.
Okay, that is huge. Because Sab0 did not, as far as we know, did not clear desert. And they were in that area.
Sab0 has not bothered with that at all.
And the best thing that could happen for lunchtime right now is if the Armos Knights have the GT Big Key. That would just be amazing for them.
That would be complete go and very smooth. This direct sequence, which you always gotta appreciate when that happens.
Yeah, that would be golden. I'm gonna say probably in Turtle Rock. Probably a high chance it's in Turtle Rock. But who knows? And GT Big Key can be in Gan's Tower. That is a thing that can happen. As crazy as it sounds.
Yep. And if that's the case, we are probably going to see an all dungeons run on this because nobody wants to plan on that.
Well, in this case, it would actually be really smart to just go to GT and check everything there. There's so many item locations there that it has the overwhelming probability just for Gan's Tower Big Key to be in there. And if it's not, you can just walk to Turtle Rock. Like, it's right across the street.
That is very true. Although Sab0 is going to make that walk first, not dip into desert, but instead take on T-Rock. Hopefully for them, that's where GT Big Key is.
Hopefully. I would hate for this to be just a pointless dip, but at the same time, I feel like lunchtime has a bit of an advantage, because even if they have to do this... well, I guess it depends on how much, if they go to GT and how much time they spend checking chests in GT is going to be the deciding factor there. Assuming it's not in GT. And if you want to see a magic trick, pay attention to lunchtime. He's going to make the Armos Knights disappear.
And poof, they're gone. They've turned into a mushroom.
That could be a big mushroom.
Well, I mean, it looks about as big as the sprite, so what's that, a mushroom the size of your torso? That's a big mushroom.
That is a big mushroom. And they're probably going to turn that in right away.
And Sab0 finds the last pod key and the butter sword.
Buttersword's nice. It's a little laggy, and the advantage it gives you over tempered, not really that great. But hey,
It can save you a cycle or two on Ganon. That might be all you need. Although right now, Sabo needs to go to desert.
Lunch did not turn in the mushroom. That is shocking.
I think Lunch is just going to make the run into Ganon's tower.
Yeah, I guess I was just banking on that.
Might dip into T-Rock first, since they're using that portal, but I don't know.
Well, this portal's faster. If you're just trying to get up here and get in Dark World as quickly as possible, this is faster. If you use the one at the bottom, it's just so you can avoid dead rocks, which can be a time save sometimes. Well, they're going in.
Going in.
This is interesting.
Yeah, Sabo almost certainly going to skip the big key chest, since he's actually one behind on Choro Rock keys, and I'm not sure which one he missed anymore. Might have been the pod one. And Sabo is a Moogle. I think that was a Moogle. Moogle-esque. Lunchtime, not even bothered with the chain chops. Just like, nope, forget you guys. Actually, yeah, Lunchtime's route is a little curious so far.
I think I just feel behind that. Finding the Keysanity on Catfish they probably thought, oh boy, my opponent probably checked this ages ago.
Ah, true.
And nerves could just be getting to them. Skipping the middle chest into a rock as promised.
No goodies from the mimics, unfortunately.
I swear, GT big key is in that chest in the middle.
Ooh, that would be actually pretty brutal, considering we don't know where the last T-Rock key is.
Okay, this is weird. They skip Mimic Cave, and they're powering through. And they skip that chest. What is going on here? Does he think this is
I don't know. We're absolutely gonna have to ask about this in the post-run interview.
Well, Lunchtime doesn't have a mic, so we're gonna have to ask that in the IRC chat when they're all done.
Well, I mean, we could ask, we just won't get an answer.
Yeah. So, do they think this is a crystal? Is this a crystal we've been lied to this whole time? It's crazy, though. This is gonna be... Huh. This could just be the ultimate gamble of all time, for all we know.
Yeah, skipping Laser Bridge is the real insanity. That's the Thieves' Town small key.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Does get the quick kill on Trinex, so that's really good. Just a map. Okay. I really want to know what's going through Lunchtime's mind right now. When they see this blue pendant.
Who knows? They might just run a GT and pray. But no matter what, we are seeing a full dungeon clear from both of our runners, even though it's not necessary to do.
Now he has a mirror equipped. I am so confused right now. Maybe he's pre-equipping that? Okay, he moved his portal over here. I guess so you can get back into GT really easily, though. You're still going to walk a long way. Is PED the GT big key? That would be...
Ooh,
no.
That would be a very bizarre...
He seems...
string for it, but he seems to be going that way.
Okay.
Either that line is incredibly misleading or lunchtime is about to be incredibly sad, and that pedestal is about to be incredibly bombed.
Yeah, that's just the map. What? What? He checked this with the book.
He did. I think he's bewildered himself.
Does Sabo think the same thing? No.
No, Sabo has that Thieves Town small key.
Yeah, okay.
So
that makes more sense.
He's coming back here.
Oh my god, lunchtime.
Lunchtime has done an expert self-debate.
Wow.
The likes of which have not been seen in some time.
Goodness gracious.
Just an Ice Palace small key for that mushroom.
Wow. I really want to see him just go into GTA at this point.
That actually is very likely to be the right play. I think we've seen so many other item locations that it has to be there.
You know, the small key to Thieves Town could be it. And I'm not sure where lunchtime's going now. Did they not do Pyramid Fairy?
Guess not.
I mean, that's... Go ahead.
Oh, because they don't have Blue Cane, so no, they didn't.
Ah, you're right.
Ah, Thieves Town was just a trick.
A mean trick at that. Alright, well, at least that's not something required. But at the same time, if lunchtime goes back into Turtle Rock and finds that small key, he might just go on that wild goose chase anyway. And the Sabo is going to land Mollis, so time is of the essence here. I can feel the nerves getting to lunchtime.
Yeah, I think at this point the question is, does lunchtime get into Ganon's tower before Sabo clears out Desert and Eastern? And from the path, it looks like a good chance.
If he does not go back into Turtle Rock, that will be really good for him. And just speaking in general, I think that's probably, even though I know that GT Big Key isn't in Turtle Rock, I would still bet on GT Big Key being in GT, even if I didn't have that information, just because of how many item locations are in GT.
Yep, very true. Right now, Sabo's best chance is that lunchtime doesn't do that.
Yeah, that would be what gets back Sabo into a leading position, is if lunchtime wastes all of his time digging through Turtle Rock and then goes back to Thieves Town for nothing.
Ooh, Sabo getting a bit robbed on the one cycle. Couple of rage slashes in.
Oh no. Oh no, lunchtime.
Oh no, lunchtime.
Dang, this is rough.
So this is plenty of space for Sabo to catch up. Yeah, lunchtime is probably going to go all the way through, almost certainly going to go all the way through. The question is, does he follow the red herring of Thieves Town?
I hope not for his sake. What would be really mean here is if the last small key to store rocks in GT, and the GT big key is actually in the middle chest.
Ooh! Ooh! That would be a thing.
That would be the meanest thing I could think of.
And yes, that would be possible since Turtle Rock is not a crystal. The logic would not require you to fight Trinex.
Yeah, so he's having to come back in here and do all these checks that he skipped on the first time. And sometimes those pet messages can trip you up. Sometimes they're not super obvious, I'll say. But right now it's really, really close. Hard to say anything without knowing where the GT big key is.
Yeah, we are extremely low on locations that haven't been checked outside of Ganon's tower. And many of them, like the Tower of Hera basement, they're still locked. So we may have to go into Ganon's tower to check those places in the first place.
Yeah, it seems extremely likely at this point that there's going to be something in GT that can just lead you right back out of GT. And if Tower Hera basement is the answer, that's fairly kind, just because Hera, of course, is in the Light World location that GT is in. Yeah, Sabo, I don't know if they'll chance the Swamp Big Chest at this point.
Or the ice big chest.
Yeah, that's rough. So hopefully, lunchtime just says, no, I'm not going back to Thieves Town, and just goes straight into GT. Hopefully.
Hopefully. And chat just coming up with crueler and crueler ways for the seed to end. You gotta love it.
Well, it was pretty nice up until this point. So
Yeah, I was hoping for a nice, kind seed, and for a while I thought the game was going to cooperate, but it's rando. It's never nice for long.
Okay, now we hope and pray that they just go to GT.
Ooh,
Oh,
no.
no.
That's Kakariko. Ganon's tower is not in Kakariko.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see if Sabo decides to dip back into these long dungeons for the big chest. Well, Sabo goes straight to GT there in a really good spot.
Yeah, looks like that's what they're doing.
I don't think they have a whole lot else to check at this point anyway, so...
This will be one of the rare opportunities where we get to do the Ganon's Tower big key count game thing, whatever you want to call it.
In theory.
In theory. There are, what is it, 22, 24 chests in the Ganon's Tower basement?
22.
22. That could have the big key or the thing that leads to the big keys being somewhere else. So yes, get your guesses in. We're going to treat 0 as it gives you the shovel and the key was buried, like that sort of thing, which is very possible. Or the small key to Turtle Rock, or the small key to Hera.
Okay, lunchtime heading back up here. Looks like they're going to GT now. So... this is still a race. Like, Sab0tender has a small, like a lead, like a few minute lead at most on lunchtime.
Yep, just depends on who finds the key first. Vanilla small key. Or at least a GT small key. It's actually been so long I don't remember where the vanilla small key locations are in this dungeon. Gibdo's not playing nicely with Sabo.
They never do. They demand a lot of attention.
That's the last T-Rock small key.
Oh my.
But
Okay.
that's the big key!
Oh boy. I think that was chest 4.
Yep, that was the 4th chest checked. So if you guessed 4, congratulations. You didn't actually win anything because we don't have prizes.
The prize was getting to play the game during a Keysanity seed. Looking really good for Sab right now.
Yep, but lunchtime is going on the right side.
Yeah, this could be made up with executioner if Sabo makes a mistake, takes a death, stuff like that.
Gets knocked down by Ganon, also possible.
Or even Trolldorm too. Everything adds up. Unfortunately, lunchtime. Just checking power room right away.
Lunchtime expecting a bigger troll than he gets.
So this will widen the gap a little bit. And I feel bad for them because if they knew what the message on the pedestal meant, this would not be as close as it would be. Because they would have checked Turtle Rock thoroughly instead of just rushing through it and all that. Which isn't to discredit Sab or anything like that. But at the time, lunchtime did have a pretty good lead, finding that Eastern Palace big key well in advance of his opponent.
Yeah, this is a classic case of some gambles working, some gambles not working, and the lead just hinging on that.
Well, on the bright side, it wasn't in the center chest in Turtle Rock.
That is true.
We got to take away the positives.
The Sabo is through the Lanmo refight as lunchtime starts climbing the tower. And doing a solid job of the gauntlet as well.
Yeah, as long as he's careful here not to despawn GT. He's looking pretty good.
And Troll Dorm 2 coming up in a moment.
Yep. But like we said, a couple falls Troll Dorm 2, or even one to Ganon, can make up some time for lunchtime. The Sab0tender is really well equipped for the Ganon fight.
No trolling this time.
Just Mildorm's Big 20 in the chest. Not too many other things it could be at this point. Pretty decent Agatu patterns thus far. This one's
Yep.
kind of trolling.
More importantly than getting good patterns, getting good execution on them. Nice batch of doubles.
Yep, really well done. So we're trying to get the bonk grab on the duck. And here we go, the Ganon fight.
So lunchtime's hope is that Sabo takes a couple of falls or even an unlucky death.
He is not very far behind at all. It's definitely gonna take a few mistakes from Sabo to actually make up the time.
It looks like they're going to use that magic cape to prevent that from happening.
Already on phase 3.
And on to the final phase.
And that's 2 of 4. That's 3.
And that does it.
That does indeed do it. Ganon turned into bacon. Nice buttery bacon with that butter sword.
As lunchtime finishes up the Aga fight, Sab0tender finishes up the run with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 42 seconds. Very close and an absolute heartbreaker for lunchtime. Sabo must be breathing a huge sigh of relief. This will keep them in the running.
Yeah, that is really, really unfortunate for lunchtime, especially considering they were in a pretty good position to actually win the race. But congrats to Sabo for coming up from behind and just stealing it away. See if we can get Sab0tender in here for an interview. Looks like they will be joining us in just a moment. All right, hello, Sab0tender. GG, sir.
Oh, thanks, guys. Whew, what a race.
What a race indeed. You need to watch how close this was getting at the end.
I'm gonna bring up the stream right now.
So yes, we had all 10 dungeons.
Right, hello, Sab0tender. GG, sir.
Yeah, we sure did, huh?
We sure did. You need.
Yeah, man, I'm really surprised that I managed to pull this one off. Like, my early game was kind of crappy. Dying to blind a couple times. Like, that was so rough. And to, like, try and, like, cool down my tilt, I run over to pod, and then I find a bunch of stuff in there, and then I died in pod, and so then I was kind of back on tilt again. It was just kind of crazy start. And then it started to kind of gel in the middle, and then looking for those last couple keys, I was like off the rails again.
Well, lunchtime has just finished their run with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 48 seconds. A difference of 2 minutes and 6 seconds between our two runners.
Wow, GG lunchtime.
Yeah. So, I think the thing that probably trolled you the most would be the Eastern Palace Big Key.
It really did. And when I finished Mire, I thought about going into Desert and just taking care of Landmo was like right there. I was already in the area. I thought, why not? And then for whatever reason, I bailed on it and like went to Turtle Rock or Hyrule Castle or something.
Lunchtime did opt to do Landmolus right after Misery Mire, but they could not find the Cane of Samaria for a while because of the way the routing worked out. So they were chasing that for a bit. And unfortunately, I think they were ahead for most of the end of the race. But what got to them was the pedestal message.
Oh, really? When you can find your way home or whatever?
Yeah. It seemed like he thought that was the Ganon's Tower Big Key. So what he ended up doing is he went through Turtle Rock, skipped all the item checks, defeated Trinex, then went to pull the pedestal and got a map.
Oh, that is so rough.
Yeah. I mean, you both dipped T-Rock further than I think the logic really expected you to, or required you to. But lunchtime did it twice, and that really turned the tide.
Oh no! Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. He opted not to go into Ganon's tower when he could. Perhaps he thought he wasn't thinking that GT Big Key could be in GTA, which is something that can trip you up because usually it's not, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's Keysanity. It can be anywhere, but man, if you're getting towards the end of your run and you haven't seen that Ganon's Tower Big Key, like, I always go GT first. I got those Ice Palace Big Key and Swamp Palace Big Key in Eastern Palace, and I thought that's probably where the Big Key's gonna be. But I kind of like got that thought out of my head and just went right into GT instead.
Yeah, that's what we were hoping that Lunchtime would do after his Turtle Rock dip, but he did find the Thieves Town Small Key, and he, being thorough, opted to go back there as well to check that useless big chest.
Yeah, it really was useless this time around. That one's one of those ones, again, that is like always playing on your mind when you're running a Keysanity race.
Yeah, there's just the Swamp Palace big chest, the Thieves Town big chest, these one-off locations that are really a pain in the butt to go back to. Can definitely weigh on your mind. So, what were your thoughts on that seed overall?
All in all, I thought it was like a pretty par for the course Keysanity seed. There wasn't anything in particular that was too trolly, but you know, it had its couple little moments, like obviously the Eastern Palace Big Key just being out of reach for me for a while, but you know, not too bad really.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. It was pretty nice overall, as my co-commentator predicted early on.
Well, it was more of a hope than a prediction, but it did work out kindly enough, and you did win, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. I was surprised that I managed to pull it off. I mean, Lunchtime is a really good runner, and when I drew him in this for this round, I thought, that's it, I'm done for.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of commentating 2 of the races now, and both of them were really exciting and really close. So
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, thanks for signing up and doing another one of my races, Hupfin.
Oh, no problem.
yeah. Did you have any questions at them?
No. Lunchtime is not going to be joining us for the interview, unfortunately. They don't have a mic available at the moment.
Yeah, but they definitely, if you enjoy what you saw, give both Sab0tender and Lunchtime a follow. As you saw, they gave you a great race. Definitely deserve your love. Thanks again to our tracker, Hahasel. Did a really good job keeping up, even during some technical issues that we had during the run. And thank you to my co-commentator, Hupfin. I had a lot of fun commentating this race with you. It was a really good one.
Thanks, same to you, Mally. And I believe that will just about do it with this stream, at least in a few moments. So other parts of this tournament going on right now, there is Andy and AJ Neb over on Speed Gaming, no number. Their race is going on. There's also Invictus and Zane at A Link to Past Randomizer 1. I believe that's just ALTTPR 1. So there are those going on. Those started at 3. And then there are a bunch happening this evening and Wednesday. And like all the rest of the week. This is a fairly long tournament. There'll be plenty more to watch if you wish.
Yeah, definitely. Go check out that Andy and AJ Neb quad race going on. You got your Willard J. Bradley, you got your food on and commentary. It's really nice. Those are 2 really top tier runners. So go check that out.
Yeah, but in the meantime, that will do it for us. So for Sab0tender and Lunchtime, haha as well, Mally and myself, take care.